Today's video is one that I have wanted to do for a very long time, and that is how you should bring crochet pieces into outfits to actually encourage you to wear what you create. I'm Jessie of Crochet by Jessie, and let's get into today's video. So guys, if you are like me and you have been crocheting for quite a long time, then it is safe to say you probably have a lot of finished projects, or at least a lot of projects that are nearly finished. And I thought one of the biggest issues that I have had over the years was actually bringing the crochet pieces that I have created into day-to-day outfits, because you've spent so much time making them and suddenly you feel like you're not actually wearing them enough. This may sound silly, but I feel like it's very much the case for me, and because of that, it's probably the case for a lot of us. So I thought I would make a video today just to give you guys the tips on how I've been slowly incorporating crochet into my outfits and the things that I'm finding are being the most successful in me continuing to wear my crochet and use my crochet. So the first tip, which I think is honestly the most beneficial, is if you're really wanting to wear something crocheted or use something crocheted, but you're kind of just getting into there, you're trying to touch the feelers out and figure out what you are enjoying making and enjoying wearing, the first thing that you want to get into wearing is crochet accessories. The accessories that I am personally thinking about kind of vary into two categories. I would say we have the accessories that you wear and then the accessories that you're using. I'm thinking more along the lines of crocheted headbands and crocheted scrunchies. These are specifically impacting your hair and the style that you are going for. So it's very much a part of the outfit, but also it's quite a subtle thing. So if you're not really feeling confident about wearing your crochet yet, it's the perfect way to branch out and start to get into it whilst being subtle and having smaller projects where it's maybe not quite as noticeable as a larger piece, but you're still getting the satisfaction that you're wearing something that you have made. And then the second kind of accessory where you're using it, I'm referring to bags. A good old tote bag is the perfect way, in my opinion, to have a larger crochet project than like a smaller accessory such as a headband or a scrunchie that you can very effortlessly get into your outfit. There's so much you can do with tote bags. There are so many different styles. You could have them be more minimalist in one color. You could have them be in a really bold single color, or like a crazy rainbow of colors. It could have as many as you want. And I think it's a great way to not only add your personality into a piece, into your overall outfit, but it's still slightly detached from the outfit itself. So maybe that will make you more comfortable with starting the transition into wearing your crochet pieces. It's also extremely functional because you can make bags the shape, the size, the overall style that you would like yourself to have. And because of that, you're more likely to want to use it and wear it because it's a piece, again, that's made completely tailored to your taste. I have so many crochet bags, it's actually ridiculous at this point. For me, I enjoy personally either a granny square tote bag. I have lots of different types of granny squares that I've worked with, and some of them are very, very minimal, very subtle with the colors. Sometimes they've only got a few colors. Whereas I also have a complete opposite where I've got a large, extremely vibrant granny square bag. And again, it's still a granny square, but a very intricate one with a really pretty pattern incorporated, loads of colors. It was for a campaign I did with Hobby, and I believe it was called the Summer Palette Escapes or the Summer Escapes, something like that. I did do it a few years ago, so don't judge my memory. And the reason I loved it so much is because it had a specific vibe that you were trying to meet for this campaign. And so I went for a tropical kind of holiday getaway. And because of that, I used loads of colors I probably wouldn't have typically used, very, very vibrant, made a very intricate granny square to kind of reflect the overall design itself. And for me, this is a really beautiful bag to have on holidays abroad and during spring and summertime. I will say in general as well that I think spring and summertime is probably the best time to start to incorporate your crochet into what you're wearing, because I feel like it's the most flexible time to be able to do this. For crochet bags specifically, as well as having scrunchies, having your headbands, all of that, I feel like for me, it very much gives a spring/summer time to it, which you may agree or disagree with, but that's just kind of how I have viewed it myself. Crochet bags, and specifically tote bags, which I normally go towards, they can be either a subtle accessory or kind of like the main pop of color. So maybe you want a slightly more minimalistic outfit with what you're wearing and you decide you want a really colorful bag to pop with it, then that's a perfect way to incorporate it. Next, we're starting to move on to actual clothing items that are typically a little bit more difficult to incorporate into what you're wearing, but I thought I would give you a few examples and the scenarios that you could wear them in. So first of all, if you are thinking about maybe autumn/winter time, Chunky jumpers are a really nice piece which can be extremely beginner friendly to work up. They can be made in a very subtle way using one color, using a fairly simple design or stitch. And again, they can look so lovely without standing out crazily if you don't want them to. And then if you're feeling a little bit more confident, maybe you've got a bit more experience with crochet, then I'd always recommend having what I would probably think of a kind of like a showstopper piece that you could have for your outfit, for example. When I am thinking of showstopper, ironically, I honestly go to a lot of my designs that I've worked on because I've made a lot of jumpers that for me would be the center of my outfit. For example, we have the Lithos jumper here, which is going to be releasing at early to mid-April. For me, this would be the main part of my outfit. I would probably pair some jeans, a muted, maybe brown pair of boots, and that would be a very comfortable outfit that I would have. If it's very cold, then maybe I'd put a thick jacket over the top of it as well. But again, this would be the main feature point of my outfit because I've chosen a bunch of different colors and I've got a funky design incorporated. So I would want to have the focus of what I'm wearing be on that in this example. I wouldn't want the attention to be taken away because this is what I am focusing on and that's what I want to kind of shout out in the outfit that I'm wearing. I would say pieces like this, it's probably when you're a bit more confident with wearing your crochet, unless you fall in love with a design so much that you just decide, do you know what? Maybe I wasn't wearing stuff before that I've made, but I will wear this because I love it. So it's just a fun kind of different alternative that I think a lot of people maybe don't think of wearing items such as this, but they're really fun and they really stand out and they can also look extremely intricate whilst also not being that difficult at the same time to work on. So again, it's kind of a project where I've had a lot of people say they don't realize it's crocheted because it looks like it's either been knitted or made with a machine, which although feels not great when you know it's handmade, it's also like the compliment of, oh, you think it looks that neat and tidy and like detailed at the same time. Moving on to another type of wearable that you can wear during the colder months. It's very, very basic, but at the same time is extremely easy to incorporate in what you're wearing. And that is gloves, beanies, and scarves. Maybe you haven't even thought of projects like this, but my goodness, they are so easy, first of all, to make. And second of all, it's really easy to wear when it is cold out. A lot of the time when it is cold, you are going to have people wearing scarves, beanies, and fingerless gloves or regular gloves anyway. So swapping that out for a crochet set that you've made is a really nice subtle way of just kind of getting out there during the colder months, because typically it is a little bit more difficult without wearing a larger piece during the colder months to kind of get into wearing your crochet. But this, in my opinion, is probably the easiest way during that time of year to get into it. Now, getting back to some of the slightly warmer months and seasons of the year, I really think that tops and crop tops are really great when it comes to spring and summertime, because not only do they work up nice and quickly for you, but you can have a bunch of different accessories with them and choose the structure, the color, the style, all of it. Crop tops are extremely versatile, and just tops in general, there's so much you can do with them. So you could always have them as the only layer if you want to be a bit more bold with what you're wearing. If you want to have them be a little bit more subtle and maybe not be the main part of your outfit, you could have a thin cardigan over them just so that you can see what you're wearing, but it's not necessarily the feature of the outfit. I find that people's first projects when they start to get into making wearables do tend to be tops. And because of that, I really do think it is a wearable that you should find the time and the scenario to wear, because they are both beautiful, they can be made exactly to fit yourself in the way that you desire, in the colours and the overall design and the pattern that you want it to be in. And again, you can make it either extremely vibrant or with multi-colours to really pop out, or you can make it in one basic colour so that it does remain a little bit more laid back and low key, because again, there's so much you can do. One very big takeaway that I want people to have with this video is that you do not need to crochet in colours that you wouldn't wear. You may think, oh, this is really pretty, this is fun. And then when the piece is done, you think, well, it's not really something that I would wear though, is it? Try to bear in mind colours that you yourself love to wear when it's items that aren't even crocheted. Have a look and just look at all of the colours. Think of a basic palette that meets the criteria of what is a colour I like to wear in any kind of situation. And then try and use something from that colour palette to work on a crocheted piece. Because if that's not a colour that you would wear in regular clothing, then what would make it any different once you've crocheted it? This may sound really, really obvious, but I feel like a lot of us have the problem of falling in love with a colour that we see with the yarn. And then once we've actually made something with it, we realise, well, this isn't a colour I'd want to wear anyway. It's a colour I appreciate that I think is pretty, but I wouldn't wear it personally myself. I think once you overcome that as a problem, you are already 10 times more likely to incorporate your wearables into your day-to-day outfits. But it's just something to kind of get rid of those possible limitations that would keep you from doing so. I really hope that this video has helped gain a little bit of confidence with you guys wanting to try out wearing some of your wearables for the first time. We should be so proud of the pieces that we crochet, the amount of time and effort and energy that goes into every single stitch. And speaking from personal experience, it is incredibly satisfying to walk around in something you've been made, let alone to get a compliment on how pretty it is and where we potentially got it from, only for us to be able to say, oh, well, actually, I made it. Maybe set yourself the personal challenge of trying to incorporate a piece of your crochet into an outfit which maybe you wouldn't have been brave enough to do beforehand. I'm extremely passionate that we should be so proud of the things that we crochet and really want to kind of show it off and be proud. And although it's lovely to keep things and our hobbies to ourselves, it's also great to go around and be able to be proud and wear what you have created as well. Because at the end of the day, you've taken a hook and a ball of yarn and you have made it into something beautiful and wearable, which is actually crazy, really. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and if you're not already, please do consider subscribing as well as pressing the bell to be notified when my next video is up. And if you want to see more content like this, then please press the thumbs up as well. This all means the absolute world to me. It means I can continue doing videos like this for you guys, which is honestly one of my favorite things to do. I have so much fun thinking of topics such as today's video to discuss, and yeah, just give a bit of a crochet perspective on everything. Thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.